So this week marks our pond's 2-month-old birthday, which is still pretty young, but a lot has happened in 2 months' time. 2 months ago, we installed this almost 3,000-gallon above-ground pond in our dome greenhouse, and then a few days later, added some goldfish, and then a few days later, added some floating plants. But 1 month later, the water changed and it turned completely green and super cloudy. It was a huge bummer. The problem was it was getting full sun in the greenhouse and we didn't have the shade cover up yet, so it was just encouraging algae growth. I tried 2 products. I tried AccuClear to help clear away some of the algae, and then I tried Pondzyme, which is a barley extract and beneficial bacteria. Now, if I did it over again, I would do this from the very start because we filled our pond with well water, which has some nutrients in it, there's some minerals, but there's no way to really build an ecosystem because in a 3,000-gallon pond, 10 tiny goldfish don't produce enough nitrogen waste to be able to feed all of these plants that you see. It was still green and cloudy for another few weeks, so I was really getting worried. That's when we went ahead and added the shade, and that actually made the biggest difference. Now, check out the water now. It's so crystal clear, and you can see all the way to the bottom that it's awesome. It's like it was when it was very first started. Clear water is not the only update. As you can see, there's quite a few more pond plants in here, and in particular, the addition of water lilies. And you got this bonus today, one of the lilies has bloomed. One of the water lilies is opening up right now, literally on camera, which is so awesome. Some of these leaves look a little bit yellow because they were overheated in transit. It was a very hot day when I picked these up. So they got a little overheated, so those will probably be coming out. But another thing that happened in the last couple of weeks is that I've improved the nutrition of my pond plants. I pulled out all of these tiny water lettuces that were turning absolutely yellow, and then I put them in a separate bucket and filled that bucket with hydroponic nutrient solution. So a concentrated heavy feed in the bucket and isolated plants that were yellow, and everything is green again. And the reason I didn't add it to the pond directly is because I didn't want to have too much nitrogen to encourage a algae bloom. This also contains copper, which isn't safe for fish. So these floating plants had to be fertilized separately in this bucket. My plan going forward for nutrition for the pond is using Microbe Lift. This is a copper-free formula that's high in potassium and iron and other nutrients, not so much the nitrogen to encourage algae growth, but it's gonna take the fish several months to be able to have enough nitrogen waste to feed all of the plants on this pond right now. So using a product like this, I can dose it twice a week for the next several months, maybe until the gallon is gone. And then hopefully by then the pond will be a lot more self-supporting in its ability to maintain balanced nutrition. So I've been adding 9 ounces of the Grow supplement to the pond twice a week. There's one more exciting update on the pond, and that has to do with this particular pond plant right here. This one is called Water Hyacinth, and it only lasted 1 day, but it actually bloomed. It was super pretty, and another joy, another important reason to check on the pond every day because that flower came and went really quickly. And the next day it was just already wilted. So the pond isn't the only exciting update. I also was able to scoop up some really cool bargains this week. And that includes climbing vines and flowering vines, going for that whimsical look here in the dome. Silver lace vine here, this is another one. It's a pretty aggressive grower, which is what I'm going for because we're wanting that shade cover. It definitely gets hot in here. Anything else that we can do to encourage shade is a good move for us. Things that had gotten transplanted that were suffering from transplant shock, like this grape, are actually showing tons of new growth this week. So several new leaves just in the past week on the grapevine. And the sunflowers are really looking awesome. There's multiple blooms on the sunflowers, and I've already picked several. Another vine over here, this one's a honeysuckle. This one, I was hoping it was going to have a stronger scent, but it's all right. I've got a trumpet vine over here and another grapevine over here. This is a seedless grape. So this is another climber. So that was my goal, is to get a lot of things that could produce shade. There's one more exciting update, just because we love it so much. But a part of the clearance sale, I got a couple of veggies, one being asparagus, and we have our first official asparagus. How cute is that? I don't think they're edible yet. I mean, you can eat them, but they're just really tiny. You're supposed to leave them for a couple of years. But it's so awesome just to see the first asparagus. And the vegetables are still doing great as well. I've had several harvests of beet greens for dinner. We've done cucumbers. We've had a little bit of summer squash, not a ton. We're getting our first red pepper, getting our first color over here. We've had a lot of tomato harvests, especially the cherry tomatoes. Finally got some pollinated squash thanks to my diligent efforts at making sure things were hand pollinated. So winter squash number 1 and winter squash number 2, I think that's it's a butternut squash. So I had hand pollinated these to make sure that they took and they stopped getting blossom rot. But I've had to take, it's just one little step I've had to take with a greenhouse is to hand pollinate things. We get a ton of male flowers just on every vine and not so many female flowers, so I'm always missing my opportunity to sort of hand pollinate to get those squashes and cucumbers to fruit and to stay growing. There's one more thing I'm definitely looking forward to as we shift towards the fall months, and that is a shift from vegetable gardening into more flower gardening. Now, I use flowers on a regular basis in my artwork. So flowers like this, the delicate and spiky Veronica, are awesome. I also got one in another color, but it's not flowering yet, still a little tiny plant. Also these mums, I'll probably get a few more mums as the season and the sales go on. And I really love this silver lace vine as a flower. I think this would look really nice in the artwork. I think it only blooms in the fall, so I probably should take advantage now, but I'm definitely seeing the potential of being able to grow things more easily through extending the seasons in the dome here. And there's so much room still. I feel like it's going to be a great place to either do artwork in the colder months or even host a class. So definitely stay tuned. I've been teaching classes, but they've been outside. But if you're interested in learning more about classes in the dome, how cool would that be in, say, November, like a cool snowy outside? I feel like that could definitely become a thing. So definitely stay tuned for that. But there's one more big transformation to come in the next week. I'll update you on the next Dome Diaries, and that is a transformation for the floor. We just purchased a couple of pallets of flagstone, a light colored flagstone. So between laying that out and adding some pea gravel in between, it's definitely going to finish off the look here in the dome. Really take it to the next level, really clean it up in here so it's not so dusty. And really finish off the look, make it look sharp. Thanks for tuning into Dome Diaries, week number 1. I'll keep you guys posted on a weekly basis of new changes, exciting happenings, and things that are happening in the Garden Dome.